In my last video, I boldly stated that the Pyxis 12K is the camera to beat from now on due to its amazing sensor and image quality. And this camera has never been beaten from all the cameras that I've been testing. So I wanted to see how these cameras differ, what they can do, what they can't do, which one is better. All the jazz you're gonna find out in this video coming up. Hi guys, my name is Paul. I'm a German-based cinematographer, and this channel is all about filmmaking, gear reviews, but also DaVinci Resolve tutorials. So if that's something that you're interested in, consider subscribe, and also consider subscribe if you want to see more about the Pyxis. I've already made a review on that camera, and I've also working on a comparison between this one and the S1 Mark II from Lumix. Starting with the low light performance here on this one, and these ones are cinema cameras, so especially the Dragon is a pretty dark sensor. But I have shot on that camera and I feel like even using it in ISO 2500 or sometimes even 3200 is usable. On the Pyxis you can also see it, but you have the advantage of that you can use the in-camera scaling. So I probably would shoot when I'm doing pretty dark scenes or I have to push up the ISO quite high, I would shoot in 8K or probably 12K. And then when I put it into a 4K timeline, also my noise gets smaller. But personally, I think the noise performance here on the camera is great and better definitely than on the Dragon. But now let's starting on the colors inside the camera. I really like if I have a camera that provides me in all the different situations that I have with a good starting point. And I not only mean by daylight scenes when the sun is out and everything is properly exposed, and then almost every camera these days looks great, but also if you have like tricky situations, if you're filming like a nightclub scene where you have blue, red colors as a key light and all that kind of stuff. And I felt like that was really the point where I always saw a big difference between the red color signs and something from another camera. But here, as you can see in these comparisons between indoor and outdoor shots, they are pretty damn close. I would agree that in some cases I still like the Dragon a little bit more regarding skin tones and everything like that, but the Pyxis 12K is really close, and yeah, it is really fun to shoot with this camera, honestly, I have to say. And even so, Blackmagic really leveled up their game with color science Gen 5, because also on the Pyxis 6K I really liked it, also on the Blackmagic Cinema 6K full frame really liked the colors and everything like that. So there's not a big difference anymore, honestly. Now let's talk about the dynamic range. It's also a topic that's highly exaggerated. Not a native English speaker, but here Red is stating that that camera has 16.5 stops. I think Blackmagic is saying that that one has also 16 or 15 stops of dynamic range. And honestly, if you're working with this camera, either of them, timing range would never be an issue. These cameras have far more than you actually need to shoot proper scenes, I would say. But talking about over and under exposure, we can really stress test these sensors. And in overexposure, they're both pretty damn close, with the except that I got out of the Dragon 4.5 stops of overexposure, and here I got 4 stops of overexposure. You can cheat a little bit, of course, if you turn highlight recovery on, but I think the overexposed parts then kind of look weird. So going into underexposure, there it was. I was really shocked actually how good these cameras perform. And even here on Dragon, I got also 4.5 stops of underexposure, which is pretty wild actually. And the same goes for the Pyxis 12K. You don't get any color shifts or excessive noise patterns or artifacts like that. You also don't lose much color information, which is crazy. Only at 5 stops I saw that we lost color information, so there was definitely less saturation, overall a little bit of a color shift. So 4.5 stops under exposure is actually usable on both of these cameras. But this brings us in total to 9 stops on the Dragon and 8.5 on the Pyxis 12K. So in the real world, you don't see a difference. But there was a shot that I did outside where I had the sun behind me, and the sun was really strong, low in the sky, blasting into the camera. And of course, neither of these camera looks great on this example. They were both exposed the same, but I could see a little bit more highlight detail here on the Dragon if you look at the tree and those branches in the background. So definitely can see more of that here on the Dragon, but you couldn't see that on the Pyxis 12K. Highlight roll-off is also something where I always said like red is the best in the game when it comes to that. And I think like here the Pyxis 12K also does a really nice job. The gradation from the overexposed parts to the normal exposed parts is pretty smooth and really comparable. So yeah, honestly, it's just great. Either of these cameras, and also for the price, it's just an insane value, I have to say. And obviously, both cameras are really good in terms of frame rates and everything that you can do here. You don't have open gate, you have that here, which also makes this camera better for low light. It's a more newer camera, newer tech and everything like that. So therefore it has all the bells and whistles of the newest feature that you want to have in a camera. But talking straight about the image quality and usability on set, personally, there's no big difference between them. So just wanted to show you here these images side by side so you can decide on what you like more. And if you have any further question, you know the game, then just drop them in the comments down below. And I see you in my next one. Cheers.